Dilla. Sorry, comrade. I can't get the flag right now. But we'll sure get the flag in the next outing. Sorry about that. Sure get the flag in the next outing. Sorry about that. Thanks for coming. Kindly share once you join. Thanks for joining. Hello, everyone. Welcome on board. Thanks for joining and kindly share once you join. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining. Once you join, kindly share. Let us have at least few people and we'll start right away. My biggest commander, Sheikh Abi. Welcome on board, boss. Welcome on board. Okay, I think we're going to start with the national anthem right away in the next like 1 minute. Let's just give let us give it 1 minute and we'll start right away with the national anthem. Thanks for joining. Kindly invite friends for us to start. Okay, I think while we are waiting for others to join us, we will start with the national anthem right away. So glory, Ambazonia, the song of Savior, the conquered also freedom, allegiance to the heroes who goes along with God. Only to the glory we rise and not to fall. Here in our nation, here with milk and honey. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making a nation a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of His days. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of His nation. Oof. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, fellow Ambalanders. Thank you for taking out time to join me this evening. Our national anthem has a way of reviving our spirit. It gives us every reason to fight. The sound of it always brings joy in my heart. I don't know why, but each time I listen to that anthem, I feel like I'm home already. So we really appreciate all those who actually came up with that national anthem. We really appreciate them for the wonderful job they did. Thank you once again. Thank you for coming on board. Today, we're just going to have a press briefing today, and I really appreciate you all for taking our time this evening for us to have this discussion. I want to use this opportunity to thank the leadership of the Ambazonian Governing Council. The Ambazonian Governing Council, your leader, that is responsible for the liberation of our homeland. I know a lot of people are looking forward to the Ambazonian Governing Council to actually lead this revolution and take us to Buea, and that is exactly what the Ambazonian Governing Council is doing right now. I just want to bring you revolutionary greetings from our comrade across the globe, our comrade from Ground Zero, our comrades in Ambazonia, those in our neighboring country, La République du Cameroon and its jails. We have our comrades who are all over their dungeons. They are bringing you greetings, to let you know that they are still with us. They're standing strong. They believe in the cause and they will do nothing to derail it, but they will stand steadfast to make sure we all enter Buea. So they are extending their greetings to you all today, this evening, Thursday, the 7th of March, 2019. We bring you greetings from our comrade across the globe in Germany, America, USA, Canada, wherever they are across the globe. They are extending their patriotic salute to you all. So we are very much delighted to know that we have Ambazonians across the globe acquiring knowledge, and skills which we know will be very useful in an independent Ambazonia that we are all fighting for. So accept greetings from Ambazonians across the globe. I also want to use this opportunity to give a standing ovation to our ground forces, to our ground soldiers for the incredible job they are doing on ground zero, for putting their lives on the line to make sure that we all one day get a place to call home. Their sacrifices, we can never really appreciate them for what they are doing. So we really want to thank our soldiers on the ground for the incredible job they are doing. We saw what happened yesterday, which I'll be coming to that in a while. But we really want to say thank you to all our ground forces. We want to say thank you to all our parents, our mothers, our fathers on ground zero, who are actually still standing with us despite the difficulties they are going through, despite the economic hardship, despite everything, the harassment on their lives, their communities, their property. They have not given up. They still stand side by side with us, fighting the enemy to chase them out of our country. We say thank you for them, for their steadfastness, for their resilience and the tenacity they're showing to the enemy. I just want to appreciate them all for that, especially our ground forces. Those that are in the refugee camp, we've not forgotten about them. Those that are currently in various bushes across the Ambazonian National Territory, we want to say we stand with you. We stand with you in this moment, or in these hard times. We've not forgotten about you. We are doing everything possible to bring you back home, to resettle you back to your communities, and also to give you a reason to be proud of yourself, that you actually sacrifice your time and a lot of things to finally get a place that you can be boastful of and call it home. So we thank you for all those sacrifices. They will never be forgotten, of course, in Ambazonia. And I also want to use this opportunity to again thank the leadership of the Ambazonian Governing Council and that of the Ambazonian Defense Forces for the incredible job they've been doing in the past weeks. The Ambazonian Governing Council has held a lot of meetings, top international meetings, to further strengthen relationship or to further create ties with other countries that will be working to recognize Ambazonia and to work with us. So we want to thank the leadership of the Ambazonian Governing Council, especially the State Department, for the incredible job they've been doing in the past week. We've reported the successes of these meetings and what it holds for Ambazonia. So we really want to thank the leadership of the Ambazonian Governing Council for the incredible job. It is indeed the leadership that is responsible to take us to Boya, and we are proud to be members of this incredible organization. So I will also just want to bring to your attention that due to some other meetings that I will be attending this evening after this, maybe in the next 1 hour or so, this briefing will not be long, but at the end of it, I will open my WhatsApp line to receive at least 2 to 3 questions for people to share their opinion, share their views in respect to what we'll be talking about here, or in respect of the revolution as a whole. But I will plead with you that you should be reasonable, mature enough, and don't be insultive. If you even try it, I'm going to turn it off, so don't even waste your time on that. So thank you again for your attention. So I'll go right into what we have tonight, what I have for you tonight. And like we said, this is a press briefing. It's not like those shows that we'll be talking and we have to bring to you the current happenings in the revolution and what is affecting our revolution. So thank you for coming in. Hey, Amba Strongest, Erica Zara, greetings, my fellow Amba Strong lady. So To start right away, breaking news reaching us this evening holds that a Canadian lawyer, whistleblower, has uncovered a plot between La République du Cameroun, Sinopec, Adex Petroleum, and a Canadian regulatory agency to declare that Ambazonia is false, is fictitious, and a facet. And we are told that the Canadian minister is asked to intervene, and we will be bringing more detail on this in the coming days. This is just a breaking news that came in this evening, and we thought it wise to let our people know that this is what La République du Cameroun is doing. It is actually working with these agencies, this regulatory agency, to declare us a falsehood, to let people know that the Ambazonia is just fictitious. Of course, we know that this is not true. So we just want to bring this to your attention and to let you know that we will be digging into this, and more of this will be coming up in the next days. I don't know if some of you have seen this, but this is breaking news that just came in. And we will, of course, let them know that we are no falsehood and we are not a fictitious something. We are a nation of our own. We thank whoever, we thank the intelligence team that brought us that intel this evening. Last week, Monday precisely, on the 25th of February 2019, Cameroon soldiers invaded Bakwere village in Manyu County. They murdered over a dozen of Ambazonian civilians. Of course, we've seen pictures of this murder across the social media. We saw a lot of heartbreaking pictures coming in last week about the invasion in Bakwere and what happened. And on the same day, they moved to a country, a community, Aja and Abakan villages, and committed the same atrocities without any form of provocation from residents in these above mentioned communities. So this is news that is coming to us that our civilians were brutally murdered by the Cameroon military. They invaded these communities without any form of provocation from our people. They were brutally murdered and massacred. We also have news that on Thursday last week, precisely on the 28th of February, a few Cameroon paramilitary soldiers called gendarmes beat up two women who we are told on the road to Mbiame. The defense forces in that community rose up, faced the Mbiame Gendarmerie Brigade. Two Cameroon gendarmes died in course of this attack, and 4 others were severely wounded. So this is also news that we had, and we felt it necessary to have to let our people know about it. We are also told on the same day, in the most barbaric spirit, the Cameroon military stopped over 14 armless Ambazonian civilians riding on motorbikes in the Mbao Plain. The Cameroon military killed all 14 bike riders in our own Ambazonia. So including 2 elderly persons who were selling fuel to survive the economic hardship. Of course, we know the economic hardship that our people have been facing in the past 6 decades. So these elderly women were actually, these elderly persons, we are not told whether they were women or men, but we are told that 2 elderly persons were brutally murdered alongside the 14 bike riders in this area. And of course, we saw the pictures on social media. All 14 bike riders, their corpses were set ablaze. This is what our people have to go through in the hands of La République du Cameroun. 2 elderly people were murdered, 14 bike riders just going about their daily activities or transactions were rounded up by Cameroon military, all murdered and their corpses set ablaze. So it is important for our people to know the kind of regime we're dealing with, the barbaric nature of the regime, and they should understand why some of us will stand for nothing but complete independence, because there is no way Ambazonians can actually coexist with these same people, the same people who execute our people, murder our people, set their corpses ablaze. These are the worst forms of crimes against humanity and crimes of genocide that La République du Cameroon is committing in our territory. We want to bring this to the attention of Ambazonians for them to know how barbaric this regime is, and for us to stand together and fight for nothing but the complete independence of Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, because we can never coexist with murderers of our fathers, with murderers of our mothers, with murderers of our brothers, people who murder mercilessly our children and cause severe pain in the lives of our parents. So there is need for us to always record these things, see what these people are doing, and make informed choices for ourselves. I would also like to bring to your attention that the Human Rights and Humanitarian Affairs Department of the Ambazonian Governing Council is working with targeted human rights organizations about the massacre that took place in the Mbao Plain. And there will be consequences on the side of La République du Cameroon. They maybe feel that what they are doing, nobody can hold them accountable, but we want to let La République du Cameroon know that they will surely pay for all what they've been doing in Ambazonia, against Ambazonians, and against our communities. They felt that they were above the law, and we want to remind them that acts like this, these atrocious acts they're committing, not just in Ambazonia, are some of the things that actually prompted the United States government to withdraw military aid from Cameroon. And there is more still to come following the interview that the Secretary General for African Affairs gave yesterday, which we'll be talking about that in subsequently. But I just want the public to know that, like we promised the last time, that we'll be sending a letter to the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court requesting for an investigation to be opened up on the crimes that are being committed in Ambazonia. We are also letting you know that we are currently working with a reputable international human rights organizations report on the massacre that took place in the Mbao Plain. So let our people be informed that we are working tirelessly to make sure that the perpetrators of this act, those that have brought pain to our people, will surely pay for it. It may be slow, but surely we will get justice for our people and for our nation. Moving forward, Bafut, Bamenda, and Bassa in Boya towards Sase were robbed with gunshot throughout the same day. As the safety situation in our homeland remains uncertain, we are told that this area was completely covered with gunshots from invading forces of La République du Cameroon. So the National Security Council, in its policy of building deterrence to ensure peace through strength, has the obligation and responsibility to take measures that will improve the safety of our people in these areas under siege. So as a matter of fact, the National Security Department of the Ambazonian Governing Council will be tabling a report this week on what actually happened to determine the situation, security situation in that area. And I will provide briefing on that if this is indeed, if the report that is tabled is declassified. But if it is classified, then I am sorry, we will not be able to bring that to the public knowledge. But if it is considered declassified, definitely we will be bringing that to the Ambazonian people. So to move forward, I will continue. While our homeland was bleeding on the same day, some Ambazonians assembly in Philadelphia on the 28th of February to the 2nd of March to tackle internal problems, internal squabbles between the Sisikua Yoke Tabekam from jail and also between the Sako Kam in the USA, and to deal with some cases of extensive financial corruption, plunging the same outfit, the IG, the purported interim government. And we are really, we learned some resolutions were met because there was the severe embezzlement of money that was put forth by Ambazonians to take care of their fellow brothers who are dying in the homeland. We are told that this money was swindled, this money was robbed from Ambazonian people, and they said the meeting that took place in Philadelphia came out with some resolutions, and we hope that they implement their resolutions, and while they are implementing their resolution, they will solve this problem and save the Ambazonian people from distraction, so that we can really focus, those who really understand what is happening on the ground. We can actually really focus on the liberation of our homeland and to stop, to free our mothers from the pain that they are actually going through. So we really hope that whatever that they arrived at in the Philadelphia conference or meeting, whatever they call it, they will actually put it to effect, and Ambazonians will be focused and distraction will be taken away from this struggle, and we will look forward to getting to Boya. They should hold all those responsible for embezzling money that was meant to save the lives of our people on the ground, the lives of our mothers. They should actually hold them accountable and make sure that they take them out of the way and give room for people who are focused on the issue of liberating homeland to take up the leadership of this revolution and liberate homeland and give freedom to our people finally. That said, I also want to bring some very interesting news that came to us all as Ambazonians. We are Ambazonians, irrespective of our various movements, irrespective of where our ideologies, we still believe that we are all Ambazonians fighting to have a free homeland. So over 1 year after the Naira 12 were adopted in Nigeria, the Nigerian Federal High Court in Abuja, in an important ruling on Friday, March 1st, 2019, declared that the adopted 12, the Naira adopted, the 12 adopted Ambazonians leaders from Naira by Nigerian security services, and the subsequent deportation to Cameroon, or extradition, I'll put it that way, to Cameroon was actually illegal, and they should be compensated and returned to Nigeria. So this is indeed good news for us all to know that they finally was served justice. We only hope and pray that actually this is effectuated, this is implemented. And we also would like to inform our comrades, those who were picked up in Calabar, to know that we have not given up on them. We don't leave our own behind. We stand, it is one for all for one. We don't care what judgment came and who was favored in that judgment, or who was selected for that particular case. They didn't consider everybody an Ambazonian. We are just telling those who were adopted to know that there is still a pending case. There is still a pending case that is that will be taking care of their own situation, because of course we know that the 9 Ambazonians who were adopted in Nigeria, in Calabar, they had refugee status, and we know they were holding meetings in Calabar in preparation to meet with the governor of that same state to provide assistance to Ambazonians, which means these are Ambazonians who deserve the support of Ambazonians. We are not selective, but if this is the situation, we want to assure our comrades that their case would definitely be heard, and a solution will be provided to them. And those of our comrades who were picked in the 9 who were picked in Calabar, we have the likes of Nelson, we have the Benjis, we have the Rene, we have the Cedrics, we have the Bertrand, Bertus, Henry, Ayompe, Moses, and Ezekiel. We just want to assure you that you shouldn't be bothered, you shouldn't be worried about what you've been told by the lawyers that met with you people days back. Your situation, we will leave no one behind. We stand with all our comrades, so we will leave no one behind. We also want to remind Ambazonians that that the same court ruled in this same first week of March 13 years ago, that is precisely on March 2nd, 2016, asking the Nigerian government to sue Cameroon in international court on questions of decolonization of Ambazonia. And a delegation of the State Department, the court ruled on the decolonization of Ambazonia and its occupation by Cameroon. The Nigerian government has never complied to that judgment. So we are just saying, in other words, that we honestly hope the Nigerian government would do something different this time around with the judgment that was passed by the same court. So we are really expecting change from the new Buhari's government, and hope that this actually happens, and let those who were picked up actually return to Nigeria, because they deserve it. They've been held incommunicado for long, and they've suffered what they didn't deserve, what the Cameroon government had no right whatsoever to bring them back to Cameroon. So on this note also, we also like to let you know, our fellow Ambazonians, that the Human Rights and Humanitarian Affairs Department of the Ambazonian Governing Council is working in the background towards making sure that the pending case on the Calabar 9 actually take effect, and make sure that proper judgment is given to these people. Because this way, Ambazonians who lay down their lives, who worked day and night to make sure that the Ambazonians who are in the various refugee camps receive support. They made sure they advocated for them. They sought support from various stakeholders of Nigeria to support their comrades who were dying in the various refugee camps. And it was in course of one of these meetings that they were bundled up and taken back to Cameroon. So we are promising them that they should not give up. We are not giving up on them as well. On Saturday, March 3rd, 2019, the Cameroon military attacked our people in Eyumojok, in Manyu County, as some were trekking to Nigeria to seek for refuge. So we are told that Cameroon military again on March 3rd in Eyumojok attacked our people. Most of them who were already fleeing the invasion of their communities and heading to Nigeria to seek for refuge. So we are told that this genocidal regime met with these people, and a lot of them were attacked and massacred. So from the briefing we've actually received, the gunshots were alarming and continue until a unit of the Tigers of Ambazonia, intervened and began a counter-assault on the military. So 6 Cameroon military lost their lives, and the Tigers arrested 2 others who are currently in their keeping. So we really want to thank the Tigers for intervening to save the lives of our comrades who were even fleeing for safety, but were attacked on their way by this barbaric military of La République du Cameroon. So we are told that the Tigers attacked these invading forces of La République du Cameroon. They killed at least 6 of them, and others, 2 others were arrested by the Tigers, and they are still in their keeping. And we are also told on Monday, February 25th, a delegation of the State Department of the Ambazonian Governing Council. When I started, I thank the Ambazonian Governing Council for especially the State Department for the incredible job they've been doing in the past weeks. We really want to thank them for the tireless effort and what they are doing for Ambazonia. So on Monday, February 25th, a delegation of the State Department of the Ambazonian Governing Council met with high-ranking state officials in Europe, and we say thank you to them. The discussion centered around the events in the days ahead. If we remember, we've been reporting that March is a game changer for Ambazonia. That March is a game changer for Ambazonia. We have a lot happening in March, and we hope that the State Department will indeed bring us the most desired result that the Ambazonian people are waiting for. So in the days ahead, the State Department will still be meeting with other top international partners to further discuss the Ambazonian case. We also want to let you know that a professional diplomat has been assigned to work with the State Department in this regard. And we remain hopeful that in the name of justice and peace, all will go well beginning the end of this month and currently planned. So once we have fruitful results and once these things are done, I will still come out to give Ambazonian people the good news and how far we've gone, especially in our diplomatic endeavors and continuous closures of these with partners to sustain our international contenderhood that we've attained. So next, on Tuesday, February 26th, a Spanish prosecutor found solid and consistent clues that a company by name Defex paid 15 million euros in kickbacks to secure arms deals in Cameroon. We saw this news weeks back, a week ago, and we didn't really understand what it is, but this is what has been uncovered. So the Ambazonian Governing Council has received critical information, which shows a very high possibility that 1 transport truck for troops, 1 tanker truck, 2 high mobility vehicles, 6 semi-rigid vessels for river surveillance of 6.5 meters length, 2 open sea surveillance, and 8 vessels of 32 meters length, possibly provided by this same Defex company through its contract with Cameroon, are being used in Ambazonia to facilitate attacks and killing on our people. So this is the intelligence that has been uncovered by the Ambazonian Governing Council. I will still repeat the figures for us to really have a full understanding of this. So I said the Ambazonian Governing Council has received critical information, which shows a very high possibility that 1 transport truck for troops, 1 tanker truck, 2 high mobility vehicles, 6 semi-rigid vessels for river surveillance of 6.5 meters length, 2 open sea surveillance, and 8 vessels of 32 meters length, possibly provided by the same Defex company that we're talking about that has been paid 15 million, has been provided to Cameroon, to La République du Cameroon, and they are currently using this to facilitate the attacks and killings in Ambazonia. So this is the intelligence that has been uncovered by the Ambazonian Governing Council, and more on this will still come up, and our people will be informed so that we can be well prepared in the days ahead and what lies ahead of us. We are also informed that the company paid bribes to more than 7 people, including Cameroon military officials, through a Frenchman by name Philippe Boussier. Yeah, something like that. So this is what the Ambazonian Governing Council also uncovered. After the discovering of this, as a matter of fact, I am expecting an action or an update from the Secretary of State, Dr. Larry Ayamba, on the steps that the State Department of the Ambazonian Governing Council is taking in the international system to address this issue, because this is serious issues, this is serious stuff, and the Ambazonian Governing Council will leave no stone unturned to make sure that La République du Cameroon pays for what the crimes it's committing in Ambazonia. So I am actually expecting a report from the State Department, the Secretary of State of the Ambazonian Governing Council, Dr. Larry Ayamba. He's been doing incredibly well, and I hope he provides this in no time, and we will let the public know exactly what he has uncovered. However, if this, whatever he uncovers, becomes classified, we will just let you know that indeed an investigation has been carried out. Indeed, he's met with international partners to discuss this matter, and if he deems it declassified, I will bring it to your attention. I am also, as a matter of fact, for the next briefing, expecting the National Security Advisor to complete investigation on the names of those Cameroon military officials involved in that armed deal. We have to uncover everything. We have to make sure that when we are holding La République du Cameroon in an international court, we should have substantive evidence against them. So the National Security Advisor of the Ambazonian Governing Council is expected to provide names, to must have conducted her investigations to know those people who are actually involved, the Cameroon military officials who are actually involved in that deal, to see that who are actually involved in the armed deal. Once this is provided, we'll also make this known to the general public. I will also provide that information to you in subsequent press briefing, if at all it is declassified. But if this is classified, we will just let you know that this has been uncovered, but it is classified. Further updates on the happenings of the last weeks. On February 28th, we received a summary briefing from the Secretary for Information, International Recognition and Peace that on Thursday, there was a high-level meeting in one of the global power centers that brought together diplomats from 4 countries to begin laying a strategic engagement framework towards the intensive diplomatic offensive and the recognition of Ambazonia, directly or indirectly by these countries. If you saw the last posting that I put up on the spokes page, you will notice that we were thanking the Secretary for International Recognition and Peace for the incredible job he did within the Washington, D.C. and other parts of America and other parts of Europe as well. What he did in the past weeks, the fruitful result and the hope for Ambazonia. So we are grateful for the incredible job that they are doing for Ambazonia. So we are also expecting, of course, the president of the Ambazonian Governing Council, Dr. Lucas Ayaba, to come up, like he posted on his wall. he has promised Ambazonians that he has two big announcements that he will be breaking to the Ambazonian people in two different capitals, capital cities of countries in Europe. So we are looking forward to hear him speak. We are looking forward to hear what he has in place for the Ambazonian people. And we know that once he comes, he doesn't come to entice us. When he comes out to speak, that is because there is something indeed in store for Ambazonia and for our people, for the furthering of the liberation of Ambazonia. So we are really looking forward for those announcements, and I call upon you all to stay tuned and don't miss that opportunity. We are all looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it, and I'm also inviting you to put your eyes on its timeline. And once it's time, we're definitely gonna alarm it. We'll bring it to your attention because it's breaking news and we all have to hear it. Moving forward, on March 5th, Cameroon soldiers attacked so many communities in Kushing. Sorry, I don't know how that is pronounced, but it's Kushing, a half-year community. From the information I received from Comrade Martin, the father of Tiger, who hates the tiger, the Cameroon military or soldiers were accompanied by some civilians of the Mbororo community. They killed 6 of our civilians, Ambazonian civilians, and 8 others were wounded. But the Tigers, under the command of Comrade Martin, intervened, fought back, and pushed Cameroon military out of that neighborhood. This is incredible. We also heard what the Tigers did when our people were fleeing to Nigeria for refuge to take safety, when the Cameroon barbaric forces stopped them on the way or attacked them on the way, how the Tigers came to their rescue, how they killed 6 military forces, and how they arrested 2 others, and they're still in their keeping. It is the same Tigers that, under the leadership of Comrade Martin, intervened when 8 civilians, Ambazonian civilians, were brutally killed, and they had to push out the military forces and also protected that neighborhood. So we want to say thank you to the Tigers for what they did. And on this note, I will kindly call on us who are here now, those who are listening, for us to give a moment of silence to those who have fallen in course of the week. Let us give them, in honor of their memories, we want to give them a minute of silence. May their souls rest in peace. Yeah. We also have to know that this is a very serious issue, especially because it involves a segment of our Mbororo minority communities, population, sorry. We have this case, we've talked about the Mbororo minorities in Ambazonia. We've coexisted with the Mbororo communities. We've never had problems with the Mbororo community. And we've had people trying to instigate hatred between the people of Ambazonia and this minority community population of the Mbororo people. But we know that we will fish out those people that are trying to create that conflict, that friction between the people of Ambazonia and the Mbororo communities. So before anyone begins throwing attacks on them as a whole, I should also stress that others in the Mbororo community at home and abroad actually work with the defense forces to rescue the neighborhood. So we will not want to hear people coming out and start shouting that the Mbororo community has done this or that. We just want to let them know that we have people within the Mbororo communities that are working with the defense forces to make sure that intelligence is given to the defense forces, and they were the same people who worked with the Tigers to secure the neighborhood, to rescue the neighborhood, and to maintain peace and order in that neighborhood. So we should not be quick to go out there and start throwing attacks, tantrums, and all those. It's not necessary at this point in time. The National Council of the Ambazonian Governing Council, I also want to state that in respect or in line with the policy on protection of minorities population, the National Council adopted last month a policy that we should refrain from collective blaming and condemnation of the Mbororo communities. We have heard in the last months how La Republic was trying to cause the Mbororo community to rise and fight against Ambazonia, and trying to make us fight from various fronts. In line with that, the National Council of the Ambazonian Governing Council adopted a policy that will protect minorities within the Ambazonian National Territory. So in line with that policy, we will continue to protect the Mbororo community, any minority group that will be within Ambazonia, and we will give them the necessary protection that they deserve. We have, even within the Ambazonian community, we have good seeds and bad seeds. So every population and every community has good seeds and bad seeds. So whatever the case, we are going to protect the minorities within Ambazonia. So we thank the Ambazonian National Council, the Ambazonian Governing Council, National Council, for adopting that policy, which is very important. That is showing how lawful Ambazonia will be when we finally get to Buea. We will work in line with international legal norms to protect minorities, protect people with disabilities. We will protect everyone within the Ambazonian territory, and we thank the National Council for adopting that policy. We also want to use this opportunity just to call the attention of those within the Mbororo community who are trying to give the community a bad name, to sit back and reflect and be aware that if La Republic would stop at nothing to make sure that they rise up against their own brothers to fight and kill their own brothers. So they should beware and be vigilant, not to allow themselves to be deceived. Those bad seeds will be sought out by themselves. We don't know. They will repent from whatever they are doing, and they will be included back into their communities. We hope so. So the policies remain. We shall protect our minority population. That is the policy, and we will respect that. So on Sunday, March 3rd, 2019, a Cameroon military car heading towards Bakebe was shooting guns aimlessly along the road. Most residents took to their heels for fear of their lives. The Tigers of Ambazonia, I am told, intervened to protect the Tinto community in Manyu County. Yes, the Tigers of Ambazonia intervened and protected the Tinto community in Manyu County. There are many persons who are still hiding in the bushes, and they are all in need of human needs services, and as such, malaria medicines, food, parts for women, etc. All these things are needed for our people, for our population in the various bushes. So we just want to thank, we just want to use this opportunity to call on Ambazonians across the globe call on them, to tell them, to let them know that our people are in need, our women are in need, our young kids are in need. So we should be able to come together to support these people. The defense forces are doing their part by trying to keep them alive. The defense forces cannot go to provide them with all this. They cannot provide them with all the basic necessities that they need. So we're calling on Ambazonians that as the defense forces rise to defend them from La Republic, we should be able to provide them with the basic needs that they need. So the Tigers are also able to track where they can purchase these items and distribute to locally displaced population. In other words, we are saying that since the Tiger operates in those communities or in that area, they know how to actually get to the internally displaced people. So they can also help in distributing whatever we provide. We are not expecting the Tigers to be the ones to raise money again and get things for these people. So we have seen the following contribution channels around. So the Tigers are able to do this. And we also want to thank the Ayapor Foundation for the incredible job it's doing to help our internally displaced persons. So we should be able to give credit to where it's due. We want to really appreciate the Ayapor Foundation for the incredible job they're doing for our people. So on the same March 3rd, 2019, elsewhere in Banjul, precisely in Awing, in Santa, in the northern region, Cameroon military burned down the Cameroon Secondary School of Banjul. This is one of the continuous cleansing of schools, hospitals in Ambazonia by Cameroon government, where it's burned down schools, hospitals, churches, and all these things where our people and they deprive the Ambazonian children of the school, basic school rights and all those, and health. So this is what actually happened in our wing as well. We saw videos of what happened. We saw the community schools. We saw the hospitals that were razed down. And this is, we also have to keep reminding ourselves of these things. We have to keep reminding ourselves of these things so that we will not stand there and say we want to reconcile with Cameroon and live with the same people that have caused havoc on our people. So with the government of Cameroon actually going around and burning down schools in Ambazonia, and with the shooting in the area around Sase, the Catholic Church had to take immediate action to protect the lives of Ambazonians in Boya. Consequently, the Bishop of Boya, Bishop Emmanuel Busso, shut down Sase College and moved the over 220 students there to Christ the King College in Tiko. So it was important due to the security, the security situation in that area for the bishop to take immediate action to save the lives of the children at that point in time. So we want to use this opportunity to address an issue that that had come up on the policy of Ambazonian Governing Council on schools. We want to use this opportunity to actually address that issue of school resumption. The policy of the Ambazonian Governing Council remains that education is a fundamental right for our children. The right to life is even primordial to the possibilities of any other rights. So the education opportunities will remain constrained when there is no freedom. So we are just trying to let our people know that the right to education is a right that is well respected, but the right to life is primordial, and we will continue. Therefore, parents and people and students should always prioritize public safety, and those who have temporarily suspended schooling to devote themselves to protecting women and children. We heard the spokesperson of the Ambazonian Defense Forces yesterday in his outing spoke about the new arrivals, the AKs that were arrived in the various camps, the Ambazonian governing, the defense forces camp, he was very emphatic that none of those weapons must be used against women and children, or killing of our own people, or the barbarous race against our own people. So we are saying that we must devote ourselves in protecting our women and our children. So I am also joining my voice to his to tell our people, especially the Ambazonian Defense Forces, that under no circumstance would they ever raise up the guns against women and children, or against even their fellow fighters. So we will continue to protect our women and children, and until when we know that it is possible for them to go back to school safely, that we will come out and declare school resumption in Ambazonia. All these things that are happening, we still have Ambazonians, brothers and sisters, who still find it hard, even within Ambazonia, in Cameroon, and in the international community, that they still find it hard to believe that the Cameroon military is actually this barbaric. They shoot and kill, and then set corpses ablaze, or that they are capable of setting schools ablaze, hospitals ablaze, and even churches ablaze, because all these people within the international community, they understand that these are all safe zones under the international humanitarian law. So it is unheard of that military that is well trained could go down that path on destroying schools, on destroying hospitals, destroying cultural artifacts, and all those things, which is against international humanitarian law. But we just want to let the world know that this is happening. It's happening live in Ambazonia. It's no movie. These things that we put out there, they're actually happening live in Ambazonia. And also on more news, we also heard that on the 6th of March 2019, there has been a total cut-off of circulation on the Mamfe-Kumba Road by the Tigers of Ambazonia. Report shows that the road was completely cut off yesterday by 5:30 a.m. in the morning, and this will continue till the 9th of March 2019. The reason that has been given by the Tigers of Ambazonia is that they are doing this to stand in solidarity with our comrades in the dungeons of La Republique, and also to enforce a no Women's Day celebration in the Ambazonia National Territory. And we want to thank the Tigers for what they have done. We want to thank them for making sure, for trying to enforce that there will be no Women's Day celebration in Ambazonia. We have some areas of international news that we heard that the international community continue to mount pressure on Mr. Biya and his government to respect human rights and address the security problem or the security crisis in the country, especially the conflict in Ambazonia. So we, on the 5th of March, saw the exclusive interview with the French news outlet, French 24, where the Trump administration, through its Assistant Secretary General for African Affairs, Thibaut Nege, expressed their dissatisfaction with the current crisis in southern Cameroon, in Ambazonia, and the way the Biya administration has handled the issue thus far. So he pointed out the use of excessive force by the Cameroon military on civilians in Ambazonia, and the increased death toll in southern Cameroon in recent months. So he has pointed his dissatisfaction, and we should beware of how American functions. In the previous the previous sanction was actually on security and military issues. With this current development, and from indication and from what we heard him said and other things, we should know that the US is, by this act or statement, will be moving towards economic sanction. Let us not be surprised to know that, to hear that the US has actually blocked the IMF and the World Bank to give loans to Cameroon. So this is how we see this the current situation with the US government is actually directed towards economic sanctions, and that will be a major breakthrough for us as a people. So we are looking forward to what will happen. We also know that Federica Mogherini, the High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, on March 4th, issued a statement condemning the arrest and detention of Cameroon opposition leader Maurice Kamto and other members of his party. So she also strongly condemned the conflict in Ambazonia by stating that the persistence of violence and human rights violations in southern Cameroon has resulted in an unacceptable number of casualties and a heavy humanitarian and economic impact in that part of the country. So we see how more international bodies or governments are condemning the human rights violations in Cameroon. She even further stated that the crisis in southern Cameroon has actually left about 1.3 million people in need, and that is a serious humanitarian crisis, as she represents and speaks for the EU. So we hope that they do more than just talking and sending out press release and statements, because press release and statements in the past 2 years has not prevented the lives of our guys who are being massacred on a daily basis on ground zero. So we hope that they will do more than just talking or making press statements. Further to some more international news, or we call it that, on February 27, the Nigerian Electoral Commission declared Muhammadu Buhari the president of Nigeria, elected for the second term. So that is why we are saying that we hope Nigeria will do something different this time around, for Muhammadu Buhari to maybe gain international support. We hope he implements the High Court judgment, the Abuja High Court judgment, and let those that were actually repatriated to Cameroon to return to Nigeria. So we hope he does something. So Fongodi Dinka once said, the road to Ambazonia goes through Nigeria. The National Council has the responsibility to debate and adopt policies for our liberation struggle that consider the outcome of this election in Nigeria. Therefore, I am also waiting on the resolution by the National Council of the Ambazonian Governing Council on the key policy position this week on this situation. So I will brief you when these things are done. When those strategic resolutions are arrived at, I will also bring them up to you in the subsequent briefing. So today has just been briefing of what has been happening within our territory, within the international affairs, what the Ambazonian Governing Council has been doing in the past months, and what we will do in this month and the other months ahead. So it wasn't supposed to be coming to actually do a live a show like the other shows that we do. It was actually to let our people know the steps and the things that have been happening within our territory, what the Ambazonian Governing Council that is considered your leadership, your leader, and has the responsibility to take Ambazonians to Boya has been doing thus far, and what they have in place for the Ambazonian people. So that will be all for now, and I would like to go back to that breaking news. Well, there is one breaking news that I would like to bring before we call it a day. Yesterday, the spokesperson for the Ambazonian Defense Forces was live, giving the Ambazonian people breaking news of what the Ambazonian Defense Forces did. So I would just like to add more on what the spokesman said. The Ambazonian Defense Forces got an intel that the DO for Bengui was in a location in the northern zone. The guys rallied themselves, I mean the Ambazonian Defense Forces, they rallied themselves and positioned themselves and attack the convoy of the DO on its way back. As a matter of fact, it was a fierce exchange between the Ambazonian the Ambazonian Defense Forces and the military that accompanied the DO for Bengui. We are made to understand by the Ambazonian Defense Forces chairman, Chairman Benedict, that an RPG was launched in that attack. An RPG was launched in the attack. We saw the video and we saw the devastating effect of it. So we had a lot of casualties on the side of the enemy force. And the good news is that not a single casualty was sustained by the Ambazonian Defense Forces. So that is the power of good weapons. That's the power of things like the RPG. That is the power of holding AKs instead of then guns. That's the power of replacing then guns. We saw how we replace in few months we've replaced a lot of den guns, and we are seeing result. So we are calling on Ambazonians to know that when you provide the guys with the right materials that they need, they give you result. First, the RPG was launched and we saw the devastating effect. So if we want to keep being briefed, if we want to keep receiving those shots, when I watched that video, it was like I was watching Expendables. It was like I was watching a movie, an action movie. So we have the responsibility to replace those den guns and give to our fighters the right materials they need. We will see result. We saw what the few that we replaced did. If we want to see these guys calm down, if we want to actually control Ground Zero, hold it, make it the contender that we want to make, we have to rise, fold all our sleeves, and begin to fund this revolution. Put your money where you will see result. Put your money where you will see result. And I want to say kudos to the Ambazonian Defense Forces for the incredible job they did yesterday. We want to hear more of those gunshots. I am particularly happy. No, you might not understand why I am happy, but those who know why I'm happy know why I am happy. And I want to share that happiness with Ambazonians to know that we have a responsibility to replace the den guns and provide to our guys the sticks that they need. If we give them the sticks, we will get the result. I really want to say thank you to the Ambazonian Defense Forces for that incredible job. You are indeed the people's army. The people look up to you for their defense, for their safety, and for you to give to them a free homeland. So thank you very much for that action yesterday. We need more of those actions. We honestly need more of those actions. Before I close, I just want to bring back that breaking news that came up this evening. the news, the breaking news this evening that a Canadian lawyer whistleblower has uncovered a plot between La République du Cameroun, Sinopec, Adex Petroleum, and a Canadian regulatory agency to declare that Ambazonia is false. That Ambazonia is false, it's fictitious, it's a facade, and it's nothing. So we are also told that the Canadian minister is asked to intervene, and more on this will be brought to you. Once we gather more intel on this, we want to thank the intelligence team of the Ambazonian Defense, the Ambazonian Governing Council for this information, and we hope to get more in the coming days, and we'll bring it to the attention of our people. So I thank you all for your kind attention, and I'm just gonna put up my WhatsApp number here for us to have receive at least 2 to 3 questions regarding what we've, oh boy. So this is my number, my WhatsApp number, and I will pin this shit. So that is my WhatsApp number. I hope you got it, and I will be open to receive that line is open now for any call. If you wish to participate, if you wish to say anything in respect to what we've discussed, in respect of the revolution, something you want to have clarification on the Ambazonian Governing Council, you can call, but I will plead with you to be respectful, and yeah, don't even waste your time trying to be disrespectful, because I'm just going to cut you off. Let's have a civil conversation. I'm just going to quickly use my phone to pin that number. I can quickly pin that on my phone rather than on this laptop. So I'm just going to put back that number up so you can actually call it. On the Amazonian Governing Council. I'm just going to quickly use my phone to pin that number. I can quickly pin that on my phone rather than on this laptop. So I'm just going to put back that number up so you can actually call it. Okay. I've just shared the number again. If you can see that on the screen, the WhatsApp line is open. I would like to have at least 2 questions And yeah. Uh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hello.
Hello, folks, ladies. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, ma'am. How are you?
But I enjoyed your show today. Very first time that I'm watching your show, so I enjoyed it, and I want to give you a shout out.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh.
To introduce myself, so thank you. So forgive me for that.
Welcome on board, Amber Strong Lady Patience. Thank you.
Concerning the Canadian report that you said that you just gave out as breaking news.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask you. We'll begin the details about this company. Is the company that you talked about? Do they have shares in Ambazonia? Do they have shares?
Well, from
Oil.
Go ahead, please.
And do they have shares in Ambazonia? And also, the Canadian government. Would you say that we saw part of the report? I didn't follow detailing, but I got a sneak peek of the report. It says that there's an intervention. So I didn't understand what type of intervention. Is it the Canadian government who is coming to intervene, and on whose part, or on whose behalf, or whose side are they coming to intervene, and what are the steps that we are taking to follow this, to work with either with the Canadian government or with this company? Is there something that the Amazonian government council, is there something that they are doing? Is there any role that they want to play in it?
Thank you very much for that question, and I will not give you a detailed answer because we don't have a detailed report of it already. Like I said, the State Department is investigating this, and they will come up with more details on this, and we will bring it to the public. And about the intervention of the Canadian minister, it definitely is to know if indeed there is, first of all, this link between this Canadian firm and La République du Cameroon. So we are actually, it is actually to, first of all, ascertain that these two are actually working together. And once this is ascertained, we don't know exactly what the Canadian government would do, but we will, of course, follow up, and once we get more details on this, we will bring it to the public. This just came in this evening, and there was need for us to inform our people that this is what is happening, and the State Department is actually investigating more on this, and they would once a report is gotten, I will be well briefed on it, and I'll bring it to the public. I'm sorry if I am not of great help to answer that question in detail, but like I said, this is just something breaking that came in this evening from the State Department, and we will get more details on that as they work on it. The Ambazonian Governing Council, of course, will work on it, and we will get more details in the days ahead. Yeah.
Much for that. And
no. Sure.
This thing that we just about it. But what I want to know is, I know you're not going to say or trying to back us or trying to represent us or defend us. Not going to say it. But what I want to know is how many countries do we have actually that standing on our side or are willing to back us? And these countries, all these countries, are they members of the United Nations organization? Are they all European countries, or there are some African countries? I know. I hope I'm not asking too much. So thank you very much, and that will be it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. To be honest with you, I will not want to give you all the answers to the questions you've asked, but I can tell you that so far we know we've gotten at least 5 countries that are working with us, and they are of course not just European countries. We have some in Africa, some in Europe, and even others. So but I'm not going to call the names of the countries or exactly, but you should know. I will leave that big announcement to be done by the Vice President of the Ambazonian Governing Council, because he has that mandate to do it. So, but like I said, we already have at least 5 countries that we are working with thus far, and the Secretary for international recognition and peace has also been working hard in the past weeks to get more recognition with other countries, and we hope that the number will keep increasing. So yes, indeed, international contenderhood is here, and we are doing everything possible to make sure that Ambazonia is free again.
Excellent. Thank you so much, spokesperson. So that'll be it for now. And
thank you. Thank you. Bye. The line is still open. If you wish to ask a question, if you wish to contribute, the line is open. You can kindly call and contribute. So we have just about 3 more minutes to go. So if you want to call, please do that now. Robert, the number. Robert, I have the number. I've posted the number again. I don't know why I can't pin it. Yeah, that's the number on the screen. So if you wish to contribute to the show, or if you wish to ask a question, get clarification on certain things, kindly call and contribute, and also ask your question. I will give you the answer as best as I can. If I am supposed to give you that answer, I will give it to you the way I can give you. So you are free to call, contribute. You don't just have to ask questions. You are also free to contribute. So I will take another question or contribution, and we will call it a day for today. Okay, since nobody is calling, okay. Since nobody is calling, I believe that we have no questions and we have no contributions. So we will call it a day for today, and we hope to see you. We'll be coming up tomorrow. Of course, the Ambazonian Governing Council Women in Leadership will be coming up tomorrow to talk on the Ambazonian woman and yeah. Okay, I missed that. So we'll be live tomorrow 7 p.m. Amber, and we'll be having a panel discussion on the Ambazonian woman and the celebration of International Day, Women's Day. Its significance. What does it have to do with the Ambazonian woman? How is it treated? How can we build our young women to become leaders and empower our women? So we will be having that exclusive discussion tomorrow. It's going to be a very strong panel, and I will plead with you all to make it a day with us tomorrow at 7 p.m. Amber time. The flyer is out, and I'm sure it's already in circulation in various WhatsApp groups, and I'm going to put it up here for your perusal. So thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you for making our time to be with me here. Thank you all, and I salute all our comrades in the various prisons of La République du Cameroon, those in the various bushes of Ambazonia. We stand with you, and those of you in the refugee camps, we stand with you. And I still want to use this opportunity to thank the Ambazonian Governing Council leadership and its president, Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, for the incredible job they are doing. Ambazonians are indeed proud of you. I am proud of the Ambazonian Governing Council, and we say, let us not relent our efforts in liberating homeland, in bringing freedom to our people. Let's stay away from distraction. Let's be focused and consistent as we have always been. So thank you all for your time, and it's a good night from my end. Thank you.